The Crypto Markets Update is presented by Grayscale, the world's largest digital currency asset manager.
All right, let's have a live look at Bitcoin right now. The CoinDesk Bitcoin price XVX index is at 57,535. Bitcoin is making an advance of about 4.4% over the past 24 hours. The CoinDesk Ether price ETX index also charging ahead, 3734, up about almost 8% for the day. And the CoinDesk DFX, the DeFi index right now, also 596, making a gain of about 5.5% over the past 24 hours. All right. Digital asset platform Seba Bank launching a program for clients to earn yield with their crypto. The Swiss regulated firm will let institutions generate income from proof-of-stake protocols such as Polkadot, Tezos, and Cardano, with other networks to be added over time. Investors will also be able to lend Bitcoin and Ether. And joining us now to discuss further is Urs Bernegger, co-head of trading and investment solutions at SEBA Bank. Hello there, Urs. Thanks for joining us. So just to start off the bat, what is your outlook on Bitcoin and the crypto markets by, in the short-term and long-term view?
Good morning, Christine. The crypto market has, we had a few bumpy rides, which are usual during the year and also kind of seasonal. Seasonal meaning the September is usually not a good month. And of course, we had China repeating over and over that they do not like crypto, but the market recovered quite quickly. What we have seen over the last, I would say, 1 week, massive or very big inflows into the market. We have seen many customers coming in and basically preparing what we expect, and also they expect end of the year rally. So I think we will see the highs that we had this year, 63,000 and odd, and probably this could be a similar catalyst as we saw when we went down from the 20,000 and then came up, broke the 20,000. So I think it will be a very interesting end of the year. Also, if you look at the futures and the option market, they all point towards higher Bitcoins, and leverage is coming back in.
So we're actually very happy to have you today because we have this sort of very interesting report out from Chainalysis about the role of Europe in DeFi. I don't know if you saw it, but basically the takeaway is that DeFi, Europe is becoming the biggest market for DeFi. And I'm just curious, if you have any thoughts on that. It's, basically they found that it was Europe and then North America, and some of this has to do with the exodus from China. But I'm curious if that's something you've noticed as well, and just why is Europe becoming a leader in DeFi? I was a little bit surprised to see that statistic.
Yes, I did not see the report yet, but I would also say quite surprising that Europe is there in the lead. I would have expected definitely the US, but if generally, I think what is interesting on DeFi and also attracts different players than the regular crypto market, this is kind of what we call as a bank the future, and basically it allows kind of not having a trusted middleman, which most or all the banks are taking at the moment, and more kind of the program or the smart contract is the trust factor. And if you look how much money investments go into these DeFi platforms, and they're especially out of the US hedge funds heavily investing in DeFi platforms. So catches me by surprise that Europe is leading, but clearly we are looking at it. I think a lot of players looking at the DeFi, and that is, in our view, kind of the next step of basically changing the financial system.
Urs, as you know, in the U.S., there's been some regulatory issues with specific crypto lenders based on states. So it's not been federal cases, but more initiatives of individual states. Do you see the same thing happening in Europe, where individual countries may take regulatory action against crypto lenders, DeFi, et cetera, while the EU doesn't? And if so, are there any countries specifically which you find to be more favorable than others, and any countries that you think are less favorable than others when it comes to crypto lending in Europe?
Yeah, I would highlight Switzerland. Right, we are a bank and securities dealer like UBS and Credit Suisse or any other Swiss banks, and our regulator, the Financial Market Authority, basically granted us a license to deal in cryptocurrencies and also to explore DeFi in a permissioned way. So Switzerland, I think, definitely is kind of from a regulatory standpoint very simple. We have one regulator, which is the Financial Market Authority, and we do not have SECs and people worry about currencies, and then on a state level, different laws. So in Europe, it's more split, of course. Europe is not one country. Every country is doing their own regulation, and I think Germany and the BaFin is very closely watching it and also regulating it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. In the US too, but it's more complicated, right? You have all the states, you have the different authorities. So I think it takes maybe a bit longer, but I think what will come out of the US for states that have, or countries that have not decided, I think a lot of people will go with the Americans, what they will decide.
It's interesting you say that because, Coinbase is also was trying to introduce an Earn product and wasn't able to. They were served a Wells notice by the SEC indicating that they would be sued if they launched it. But I see that Seba has Seba Earn that you're launching. Maybe you could tell us a bit about that. Who can access it? Do you have to be in Europe only, and what it offers?
Yes, I think especially I would like to quickly point out that, as I said, we are a bank and a securities dealer. So we have a securities dealer license, so we can issue securities and we can also involve in banking businesses. And so lending and borrowing is traditionally a banking business, and so basically we have the license for it. Coinbase was a bit early, but I think once they talk to the regulator and possibly get a different license, they will be also ready to go. So our platform is clearly for our clients. So to basically borrow and lend or stake, people have to have, if you want, a bank account, which is basically the opening of a bank account is very similar or the same like in any other bank, KYC, AML, etc. It's not just that people could pay into SEBA and then start staking. So you need to be a bank customer. And we also, of course, we offer our services to clients that have behind them a lot of clients, meaning other banks or crypto businesses that do their AML KYC properly, which can then be our client, and we can serve the end client through the client we're facing ourselves.
So
I also noticed that there is a focus on Polkadot, Tezos, and Cardano. Are you very bullish on proof of stake protocols?
Yes, we are, and we see that the market is as well. I mean, Cardano and Polkadot especially, I think these are chains for the futures. We see a lot of interest from our clients in these chains, and also got asked why we do not offer staking. Exchanges can offer staking. It took us a bit longer, but as a bank, we are the first one in the world that offers staking. And, like everything or most of our products, they're customer demand driven. And this was a big demand from our clients. And hopefully we will attract future clients with offerings like DeFi and staking and borrowing and lending.
Now, Seba Earn is focused primarily on institutions. Individuals can do it or no? And if not, why not?
Individuals can do it, but you have to be a qualified investor. So there's certain hurdles of capital and understanding that you need. It depends on country. Switzerland, you need 500,000 bankable or 2 million total assets that you basically qualify, and which means basically you can do business with us. We're not doing business on the retail segment yet, but this is also something we're working on in the coming months.